My name is Arthur James Whitfield. I'm 84 years old, and I want to tell you something I wish somebody had told me about 10 years ago, before I wasted all that time sitting in a chair waiting to feel better. Back then, I was exhausted. Not the kind of tired you feel after a long day. The other kind. The kind that's already there when you open your eyes in the morning. The kind that makes you feel like the best of your life is already behind you, and all that's left is the waiting. I remember sitting on my porch one afternoon, watching my grandkids run around the yard, laughing, chasing each other, completely alive. And I just sat there, too tired to get up, too low to even call out to them. And I thought, is this it? Is this just what being 84 feels like? I was wrong, and finding out I was wrong changed everything. What turned it around wasn't medicine. It wasn't anything expensive or complicated. It was 7 small habits, so simple they almost embarrassed me when I first heard them, but I tried them anyway. And slowly, not all at once, but slowly, I started coming back to life. I'm going to share all 7 with you today, including the one I saved for last, the bedtime ritual that I believe was the key that unlocked everything else. If you feel like your energy has packed its bags and left without saying goodbye, stay with me, because I promise you, it hadn't gone as far as you think. The first habit is water. And before you click away, I know you heard it. I'd heard it too, 100 times. Drink more water. I nodded along and did nothing about it for years. I was a coffee man my whole life. 2 cups before 8 in the morning, and then nothing but a little juice at lunch. I thought I was fine. I didn't feel thirsty, so I figured my body wasn't asking for anything. What I didn't understand is that when you get older, your body stops sending the thirst signal the way it used to. You can be running on empty and not even know it. That dry, heavy, foggy feeling I'd been living with for years, that was dehydration, and I'd been treating it like a personality trait. My daughter had been telling me for months, "Dad, drink more water." I brushed her off the way fathers do. Then one afternoon, I finally gave in. I got myself a big water bottle, and I made a deal with myself. Finish it every day. Within a week, the afternoon fog started lifting. My joints, which I'd convinced myself were just old, started aching less. I had a kind of steady, quiet energy I hadn't felt in so long I've forgotten what it felt like. Now, the very first thing I do every morning, before the coffee, before anything, is drink a full glass of water. It sounds too small to matter. It isn't. The second habit is movement. And I need you to hear what I mean by that before your mind goes to gyms and running shoes and things that have nothing to do with you. I don't mean exercise the way younger people mean it. I mean moving your body every single day in whatever way your body will allow. That's it. That's the whole habit. When I was at my lowest, even the idea of a walk around the block felt like someone asking me to climb a mountain. So I didn't start with the block. I started with my driveway. I walked to the end of it and back. That was my first day. That was enough. The next day, I did it twice. The day after that, I made it to the neighbor's mailbox. Slowly, without even realizing it was happening, I was walking around the block, then 2 blocks, then down to the park and back. Here's what nobody tells you. Movement creates energy. It doesn't spend it. The days I walk are the days I feel alive. The days I skip are the days the armchair starts calling my name again by noon. Some days now it's a walk. Some days it's slow stretches in the living room or an hour digging in the garden. The type doesn't matter. The consistency does. My body needs to be reminded every day that it's still capable. That reminder is the habit. Third habit, morning sunlight. For years, when I was feeling low, I stayed inside. The curtains half drawn, the same 4 walls. I told myself I was resting. What I was really doing was cutting myself off from something my body desperately needed. Sunlight in the morning resets something deep inside you, your body's internal clock, the rhythm that tells you when to be awake and when to sleep. When that rhythm gets confused, and it does, especially when you get older, everything suffers. Your energy, your mood, your sleep at night. My fix for this is so simple it almost feels like cheating. After my glass of water, I take my morning tea outside and I sit on the porch. No phone, no television, just me and whatever the morning has to offer. 10 minutes, sometimes 15 if the weather's good. I listen to the birds. I watch the light change. Some mornings it's cold enough that I can see my breath. I sit there anyway. That quiet time in the morning light does something to me that I can't fully explain. It clears something out. It tells my whole system, body and mind both, that a new day has started and it's worth showing up for. On the days I skip it, I feel the difference by 9 o'clock. Fourth habit is food. And I'll be honest with you, this one took me the longest to accept because I'm of a certain generation and we ate what was put in front of us and we didn't ask questions. For years, I was eating for convenience, whatever was easy, whatever was quick. Processed things, sugary things, white bread, canned soups, sweet biscuits with my afternoon tea. I'd get a little rush, and then an hour later, I'd crash so hard I could barely keep my eyes open. What I didn't understand was that I was doing it to myself. Those blood sugar swings, up fast, down hard, were stealing hours from my day. Every crash was an afternoon I spent slumped in a chair instead of living. I didn't overhaul everything overnight. I just started making small swaps, one at a time. Oatmeal instead of sugary cereal, whole grain bread instead of white, more fish and chicken, more color on the plate, berries, greens, sweet potatoes, things that looked alive because they were. The difference wasn't dramatic at first, but after a few weeks, I noticed I wasn't crashing in the afternoons anymore. I was lasting the whole day. My mind felt sharper, my mood, and my wife would confirm this, was noticeably better. You don't have to give up the things you love. I still have a biscuit with my tea, but now it's a treat, not the fuel I'm running on. What you eat is either feeding your energy or stealing it. Once I understood that, the choices got easier. Fifth habit, and this one surprised me the most because it has nothing to do with your body, is people. Stand connected to people. When I was at my lowest, I pulled away from everyone. Phone calls felt like too much effort. Invitations felt like obligations I didn't have the energy for. I told myself I just needed rest. What I actually needed was the opposite. Loneliness drained you in a way that's hard to describe until you felt it. It's not sadness exactly. It's more like a slow dimming, like someone's been quietly turning down the lights and you didn't notice until the room was nearly dark. I started small. A phone call to my sister on Sunday mornings, coffee with the neighbor I'd been meaning to catch up with for 2 years. Eventually, I joined a gardening club, which I'll admit I was skeptical about, and it turned out to be one of the best things I've done in years. There's something that happens when you're talking with someone who makes you laugh, or who says something that makes you think, or who just listens while you say something you needed to say out loud. Something wakes up in you. It's a kind of energy that no vitamin or supplement can replicate. Now I make sure I connect with at least one person every day. Sometimes it's a long conversation. Sometimes it's just a good laugh with someone at the store. Every one of those moments is fuel. Don't let yourself run out. Sixth habit, and this one isn't something you do, it's something you choose. Gratitude. And I know how that sounds. I know. When I first heard someone suggest it, I nearly rolled my eyes out of my head. But I was desperate enough to try it, and I'm grateful I was. When you're tired and achy and watching things get harder year after year, it's very easy to fall into a way of thinking that focuses on everything that's going wrong, everything you used to be able to do that you can't anymore, everything the years have taken. That kind of thinking is exhausting. I don't mean that as a figure of speech. I mean it literally drains your body. Stress and negativity have a physical cost, and when you're already running low, you can't afford to keep paying it. So every morning on my porch, while the light is coming up and I'm drinking my tea, I think of 3 things I'm grateful for. Some mornings it's big, my daughter's health, my grandkids, 60 years with a woman I still reach for in the night. Some mornings it's small, the tea is hot, the birds are loud, the sun came up again.
Both kinds count equally. The practice isn't about the size of the thing. It's about training your attention to look for what's still good. And there is always something still good. Always. You just have to decide to look for it. And now, the seventh habit. The one I saved for last because I genuinely believe it was the foundation that made everything else possible. My bedtime ritual. For years, I slept terribly, couldn't fall asleep, woke up 3 times a night, started every morning already behind, already tired, already defeated before the day had a chance to begin. I thought it was just age. I thought you got old and you stopped sleeping well, and that was the deal. It wasn't age. It was what I was doing to myself in the hours before bed. I'd watch the evening news, which, if you've watched the news lately, is not exactly a relaxing experience, and then I'd sit in bed scrolling through my phone with the brightness turned all the way up. I was telling my brain it was time to be wide awake, and then wondering why I couldn't sleep. So I changed it. An hour before I plan to sleep, the television goes off. The phone goes face down on the nightstand. I dim the lights. I put on something quiet. Sometimes classical music, sometimes nothing at all. I do a few slow stretches in the living room, nothing strenuous, just enough to tell my body it's time to let the day go. 30 minutes before bed, I make myself a cup of chamomile tea, no caffeine, and I read a real book, paper pages, the kind you hold in your hands, and I read until my eyes get heavy. By the time I get into bed, the room is cool and dark and quiet, and my body already knows what comes next. I sleep now, really sleep, and I wake up feeling like the day belongs to me again.